Vacheron Constantin just introduced the new 222 model, in stainless steel this time. It was a logical and quite frankly very expected move since the introduction of the 222 Gold model. The model very truthfully recreates the first two 22 models from 1977. It was the era of integrated bracelets and industrial stainless steel luxury watches, the era that brought us some of the most iconic watches of all time. Watches like Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak and Patek Philippe Nautilus were designed by Gerald Genta. The 222 isn't Genta's creation. It was designed by watch designer Jörg Heisek. Some of the most prominent Heisek works are Seiko Artura and the Breguet Marine. A watch brand under the name Heisek was launched as well. Both 222 reissues, gold and stainless steel, are fantastic watches very similar to the original dimensions. The diameter is 37 mm and the thickness is about 8 mm, which is a bit thicker than the original. It's one of my favorite integrated bracelet watches on the market today. The watch is great, but unfortunately not perfect. There are some issues with the 222 and given the price of the watch, I think those issues should not exist. The watch is powered by quite an old and kinda outdated 2455/2 caliber with only 40 hours of power reserve. I think it also doesn't have any anti-magnetic tech. Another thing is 50 meters of water resistance, which I believe is a downgrade from the original 100. No one would be diving with the watch, but 100 meters still would be nicer. My biggest issue is with the date window position. It's moved closer to the hand center compared to the original model. It's nothing new and it happens all the time with the watches, but at that price point the watch should be perfect in my opinion. Anyway, it's not like I'm planning to buy this watch anytime soon. The price point is way over my spending power. Apparently the 222 will be available only at Vacheron Constantin boutiques and most likely there will be waiting lists to get one. So let's see what alternatives are available on the market today. There are many great watches with integrated bracelets. I've selected models that in my opinion reflect the spirit of the Vacheron 222 the best. The first watch on the list is Movado Ondoplan. What's cool about this watch is that it's inspired by the Movado model from the 70s. The model is a part of the Movado Heritage Collection, and I really like the look of this watch. The model has a very similar design to this Movado Zenith Electronic. That's right, back in the day, Zenith used Movado as a Trojan horse to sell its watches in the United States. Movado Ondoplan is a 36mm integrated bracelet sports watch with a sapphire crystal and a fluted bezel. It has the same 50 meters of water resistance as the Vacheron Constantin. There are three variants of the model: stainless steel, two-tone and gold-plated. So you actually can scratch the 222 gold model each. The two-tone version looks great as well. What's not so cool about this Movado is the quartz movement inside. I personally have nothing against quartz, but I think that the mechanical option would be great. If you're not into quartz much, here is another option for you. I am talking about Tissot PRX, of course. It's probably the most obvious choice here. The PRX comes with so many options these days that it probably can suit anyone. But if we are talking about alternatives to 222, it has to be 35mm models. The cool thing is that Tissot has both quartz and automatic models of the PRX. Also different dials and metal colors. My personal choice as an alternative would be the blue dial Powermatic PRX in 35mm. It's easily accessible, very easy to wear, and a super versatile watch. The model has its own story. It takes its inspiration from the Tissot C-Star, an integrated bracelet sports watch from the 1970s, so Tissot wasn't a stranger to the integrated bracelet game. The watch comes with 100 meters of water resistance and no screw-down crown. It's powered by the ETA movement with a Nivachron balance, hairspring and an impressive 80 hours of power reserve. The finishing of the case and tapered braces are very good for the price. The case size is 35mm and the thickness is 10.9. Not a particularly thin watch, but great all-rounder nonetheless. The next watch on the list is Tudor Royal. Royal is a great and underrated model from Tudor. I think this watch could be a very good alternative to the 222. Royal doesn't get too much attention. I guess its design is not everyone's cup, and that's okay. I used to own a Royal model and miss having it in the collection. I think that Royal carries the same 70s spirit, and I think that the 38mm model has the best proportions. Also, this Tudor Royal is an interesting mix between Rolex Datejust and Rolex Oyster Quartz, and the only integrated bracelet current offering from both brands. The Roman numerals and fluted bezel give this watch a dressy look, but with its 100 meters of water resistance, screw-down crown and lume on hands, Royal can be your sports watch as well. In fact, they are in the sports category on the Tudor website. I think it's a very versatile Tudor. You can dress them up or down with no problem at all. The 38mm version has a slim profile at 10.4mm thickness and wears great on the wrist. The bracelet is very comfortable, also given you'll be able to find a good fit for your wrist. There is no micro adjustment on the clasp. The Tudor Royal comes in 4 case sizes: 41, 38, 34 and 28. Many dial and materials options to choose from. There are stainless steel, two-tone and some models featuring diamonds on a dial or a bezel. While Tudor moved most of its watches to their in-house movements, the Royal 38 is still powered by the caliber T601, which is Celita or ETA based movement. My experience with the watch accuracy was great, so definitely not a deal breaker for me. I think that Tudor Royal 38mm is a very underrated watch from the brand and a great value proposition on the market right now. But if you want a more elevated watch with in-house movement, I got you covered. With this watch, we will make a sharp move up in price. I am talking about the Chopard Alpine Eagle. I had a chance to review an Alpine Eagle 41 with a grey dial and I was blown away by the watch. It's such a fantastic watch. Don't let the 41mm case scare you. It's not the smallest watch on the paper. But on the wrist, it looks and feels more like a 39mm watch. It's a true sports watch with 100 meters of water resistance, screw-down crown and lume. The watch was super comfortable on my 17cm wrist, the bracelet is great, and my only complaint is that it's not a tapered bracelet. No micro adjustment on the butterfly clasp. With all that said, for a smaller version, you may opt for the Alpine Eagle 36. Both models are made of lucent steel and have a great finishing. The lucent steel is a trademark stainless steel alloy used by Chopard in its watches. It's stronger, harder, and more resistant to scratches than regular steel, and it looks brighter and shinier compared to regular watch steel. Aside from the dimensions difference, the 36 model has a different movement inside. The 41mm model is powered by the COST certified well-decorated Chopard 0101-C caliber with 60 hours of power reserve. The Alpine Eagle 36 has a cleaner dial with no date and a Chopard 0901-C movement inside. The movement is also COSC certified, but has only 42 hours of power reserve. The dial is simply stunning. Pictures and videos don't do the proper justice, but on the wrist it literally had a wow effect on me. The finishing of the dial is inspired by the eagle eye iris, hence the name of the model, Alpine Eagle. The watch is not cheap at retail, but it's a great value proposition on a secondary market. Girard-Perregaux Laureato is a very underrated integrated bracelet watch, and while it has less resemblance with the 222 as other featured models, it's still a very good alternative. Girard-Perregaux is a well-respected old watch brand, and Laureato is a rightful contender to other more famous integrated bracelet counterparts. Laureato was launched in 1975, 2 years before the 222. Today GP offers two size variants, 42 and 38. In 2024, the brand added two 38 models to the catalog, blue and green dial. With two options in case size, there is a choice for every wrist. Both watches are equipped with an in-house movement that's been optimally designed for these models as per the brand. The Laureato 38 is powered by the GP's in-house movement, GP03300 with a gold rotor and 46 hours of power reserve. The 42nd model has GP01800 movement inside with 54 hours of power reserve. Both movements are well decorated and available to see through transparent back cases. Both are true sports watches with 100 meters of water resistance, screw-down crown and lume on hands, and applied markers. The 38 model has 10 mm thickness and the 42 is 10.6 mm thick. The dial is absolutely stunning with the Clous de Paris pattern on the dial and applied markers. Both watches are well made, refined, and proportioned to be your everyday companion. One of the most expensive but also one of the best alternatives for the 222 comes from Vacheron Constantin itself. I am talking about the Overseas model, with 222 being a part of the brand's historic collection and higher positioning. It leaves Overseas as a more affordable offering from the brand. Even Overseas Dual Time is a couple of thousands cheaper than 222. Sadly, Overseas is also a hard to get watch from AD, but I am pretty sure it would be easier compared to the 222. So you will get an iconic integrated bracelet watch that essentially is the 222 successor. It's a larger watch at 41mm case size, but also is better specs wise. It has a 150 meters of water resistance versus 50 with 222. The Overseas is powered by 5100 caliber, which is the Vacheron's latest generation of automatic movements. The watch is noticeably larger than the 222, but similarly to the Chopard Alpine Eagle, you can opt for the smaller 34.5 Overseas. So these are my choices for the Vacheron Constantin 222 alternatives. As I mentioned already, there are many integrated bracelet watches on the market today. The integrated bracelet craze gave the industry a big boost with the industrial elegance that was pioneered by Gerald Genta. Let me know what you think about the watches on my list. Which ones would you add to the selection? Thank you for watching and happy collecting.